Rather than Champions League football is back for Manchester United, and it means it's back for us as well because we are doing a preview. One I've actually been really excited about doing as well because it's how to beat Atletico Madrid. So, what's going on? The reigning La Liga champions are currently fifth in the league. They're outside the Champions League places. They've won 3, lost 2 of their last 5 league games. They're proving to be a little bit on the inconsistent side. United and Atletico haven't played each other in 31 years. The last time we did, when United was reigning champions of the greatest cup competition in the world. Yeah, and they knocked us out. Right, how do they play then? So we covered this a little bit in Scouting Atletico last week, but as a bit of a refresher for everyone, Simeone once described his playing style as that, as a man with a knife between his teeth. And that's something that he seems to pass on to his players. Under Simeone, they've always been intense, defensively sound, and occasionally a little bit violent. They may not always be too easy on the eye, but the supporters don't care because they've actually managed to break that duopoly of Barcelona and Real Madrid and been relatively successful in recent years as well. They operate primarily in a 4-4-2. This season he's started to experiment, and that might have caused some of the inconsistency. Maybe it's also showing that he's not quite as happy or as settled with the team as he has been in recent years. And he's increasingly going towards a back three. 3-1-4-2, 3-4-1-2, 3-4-2-1, and even just like a pretty basic 3-5-2. So he's obviously not entirely happy with what's going on, and there could be various different reasons for that. But they're famous really for being defensively resilient, hard-working, difficult to break down. They play narrow, they play compact, they incorporate mid or low blocks. They don't tend to press too high. They let the opposition have the ball, certainly around the halfway line. They really don't care. They shift and they slide, and they position themselves really well. And they maintain a serious defensive discipline and structure. When the opposition play out the back, they tend to drop in rather than press. They let you have it there. They're not really bothered. The wingers tuck in alongside the central midfielders. The forwards sometimes drop back to make it like a 6-man midfield or to maybe add a little bit of depth, because the one weakness that you do have in a 4-4-2 is it's a very rigid, flat formation, and there's often angles and lines that you can hit in between them to counteract that. And that's why the 4-3-3 is actually a very useful formation, because it finds so many angles. 4-4-2, you're looking at flat and straight balls, whereas with a 4-3-3, everything's on an angle, and that works. They've built a reputation of being counter-attacking. After winning possession, they don't typically look to go long the way like Burnley would. Instead, they look to really play through the centre or play into space and then move it vertically up the pitch. And even though there might be verticality to what they're doing, invariably it's still quite often on the floor and quite a high technical proficiency when they do it. It's not just percentage balls and try and knock it down. They also have a very central sort of approach as well. So it's a lot higher frequency than other teams. Other teams love to really attack, and certainly in La Liga, they love to use the space that's out wide. They like to go through the centre. Maybe it's because they start compact and they kind of just continue on that trajectory rather than fanning out first. But they operate in the centre a lot of the time. So only Barcelona have used a more centrally vertical form of attack, and that's potentially because of how fast they can be through the transitioning. And it's why it's important to have some strength in the centre of the pitch for United in this game. Simeone's side really like to utilise the wings when they play in the top teams, and the role of the fullbacks become quite key in those moments as well. Team news wise, Carrasco is suspended for both legs, and that's a big blow for him because he's a hell of a player. Suarez only's got 2 goals in his previous 9 appearances against United. I expect him to feature. And Correa might get the nod over João Felix to start up front against United. Here's how I think they're going to go, though. Oblak, Vrsaljko, Savic, Jimenez, and Reynaldo, Llorente, Kondogbia, Koke, Lamar, Suarez, and Correa. And before we start talking about the star man, which I think will surprise you, I think losing Trippier, and actually some people are going to laugh at this because how little of an impact he's had at Chelsea, but the correlation to how poor these lot have been this season and Sal Niguez going, can't be ignored. So I'm taking that as a win for the fat lad. Anyway, Starman is going to be Angel Correa. 12 goals, 5 assists this season. He's the most goal involvements for any Atletico player. He is their threat. He's a star man this season. He's been consistent all the way through the season. He's got good pace, good skill, real good low centre of gravity, and really good technique. If I had to say, like, who's he like? Like, I can't picture him. I think Carlos Tevez. Handful, nightmare. Right then, I just wanted to interrupt it a little bit because this video is brought to you by Incognit. Every single day, your personal data gets sold all around the place without you even knowing, and they don't cut you in on it either, which is rude. But there are thousands of data brokers out there that are aggregating all your data, your phone number, your IP address, your employment history, all your shopping habits, and they're selling it on to people to be used as they please. And it's not great, let's be honest with that. Look, I remember after searching about for some stuff that I don't usually search about for the missus, like a little present for the missus, then you get bombarded by it. In fact, she was talking about it this weekend. She's had a look at a couple of my stories on Instagram, and now she's getting bombarded by football-related adverts. She's not even interested in football. How are they targeting you? It's because of what's going on in your search history. The good news is that you have the right to request that data brokers delete what information that they have got about you, and you can protect your privacy. Unfortunately, if you want to do this by yourself, it's going to take absolutely years to go and do it manually. And the good news is that Incognit, who's sponsoring today's videos, they can do all the messy work for you and help cover up your internet goings on, if you're catching my drift. They help you protect your privacy. They help take all your personal data off the market by reaching out to all the data brokers on your behalf, requesting that your personal data is removed, and dealing with all the objections. And again, the whole thing is automated. All you got to do is follow a couple of simple steps. Firstly, create an account and tell Incognit the personal data that you want to be removed, and then grant them the right to work for you. Incognit contacts all the data brokers on your behalf to request that your personal data is removed from their databases, and then you relax. I've just signed up and I actually feel a little bit better knowing that there's all that sort of stuff getting out of there. And they've gone through and taken away 76 different data brokers who had my information. That's a bit wild, isn't it? But it's super affordable, it's effortless, and it's brought to you by the good folks at Surfshark. So if you like what Surfshark were doing, you might like what these guys are doing. The first 100 people to use the code Howson, Howson, are going to get 20% off Incognit. So go and check it out. That's incognit.com/Howson. Click the link below and take back control of all your personal data. In terms of data, Atletico Madrid, average 52.3% possession, which is only 8th in the league. There's a lot of possession teams over in La Liga. They have the second most successful tackles in the middle third with 181. This is the area of the pitch that they like to engage. They've scored the third most goals in the league this season with 45, which is behind Betis and Real Madrid, showing you how much of the defensive issues that they've had this season, they're still a threat going forward. Only Real Madrid and Barcelona have had more touches in the attacking third than Atletico, bolstered by the fact that they lead the league in interceptions with 401. Oblak's only stopped 47.3% of the shots that they've conceded in La Liga this season, and that is the worst save percentage in the competition for keepers with more than 10 appearances. This is not a good season for Jan Oblak. Formerly the best goalkeeper in the world by some stretch, really lost his mojo this season, and that is the weakness that I'm anticipating United can and should be exploiting. In terms of United, I'm going with a really adventurous team. I'm not sure Ralf will, but I'm going with an adventurous team because I think the best form of defence, certainly away in Europe, and I know away goals is no longer a thing, but certainly away in Europe, I think you go and take the game to them. And I'm going with De Gea in net. Because I anticipate that they're going to let us have the ball, you want to be able to utilise it when you've got it. So this is what I'm going with. Dalot and Telles. Lindelof alongside Varane. And Lindelof alongside Varane. Yeah, Harry Maguire scored at the weekend, so what? He's not the man for this game. They're going to play counter-attack and they're going to come blasting through the centre. So what? My number 6, I'm going to go for Fred. Because I think the energy that you're going to need for the counter-attacks and the pace you're going to need for the counter-attacks, it's not quite there with McTominay, even though he had a great game against Leeds. And I could make a case to play both in this game with Bruno centrally as a number 10. And if it is a 4-2-3-1 with Fred and McTominay and Bruno, I don't think anyone could have a massive drama with that. But I want to build on Paul Pogba's performances, have someone that's just dealing with all of the sweeping up behind in Fred, and let Pogba and Bruno deal with this, because you are going to come up against a low block. You are going to have a lot of possession, and you might as well have some people capable of unlocking that in Bruno and Paul Pogba. Up front, I'm basically going with the same team that I wanted against Leeds, bar one change. Elanga, because I think he's worth it. Ronaldo and Sancho as the forward three for United. And how do we beat them? Well, it's very straightforward. Wide areas is where you're going to stretch teams, and the majority of possession against two banks of four. When a team's on a low block, you go wide, and then you look to try and penetrate holes in between. I'd like to see us replicate the kind of attacking performance that we showed against Leeds, but I'm not sure the space is going to be there. We can still try. And against a low block, the width is so important. That's why I've gone with two overlapping cross-heavy fullbacks. The fullbacks are going to effectively be wingers in this one. We need to gamble. There's got to be third man runs into the box. This is Bruno and Pogba's territory, really. These two should come alive, and these two could be really key if both of those are played. You've got to move the ball quickly, which negates probably wanting to play Fred and McTominay because they're going to hold on to it too long. If you've got Fred and you've got Bruno and Pogba coming towards him, one of them will be in space and he'll be able to make simple, straightforward decisions, and I think we'll be fine. You've got to watch the counter-attack with Atletico. They've got a lot of quality, and they are a serious threat when they get on the ball and look to get in behind you. And that's why I can't bring Maguire into this. You're going to see Lindelof and Varane, hopefully, parked on the halfway line while we're recycling possession and probing. And anytime a move breaks down, they will be in us like a flash. And Harry Maguire is a problem for United in those scenarios, in my opinion, and so is Luke Shaw. Transitionally, they're not good enough. You can make a case for bringing Wan-Bissaka in these circumstances to give you an extra man in the box because he isn't likely to go forward. But I think you definitely lose out something going forward in that instance. And I would rather have someone with Dalot's capability on the ball than someone who's a bit better defensively, but a lot worse with the ball. There has to be some physicality from United as well. This will be more like a Premier League game than any other game that you get in Europe. And they come to play with violence, and they come to hit you, and they hit you hard. We've occasionally been found wanting when teams want to make it a battle. Having the likes of Paul Pogba and his physicality, which I thought there was at times when he was just holding people off, and he's going to need to do that a lot. We've got to be more proactive. We've got to be energetic. The second balls will be big in this. This is going to be like a Premier League game. And Leeds at the weekend was such a good opportunity for us to test the mettle of our players going into this. Support each other. Be the first to contact. Be on the front foot. Be aggressive. And let's have a little bit of quality in the final third. And I think United can go and get a result here. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Make sure to check out today's sponsor with the link in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.